What were family meals like? Uh, and just kind of an ordinary day with all those people living in that small little house. What were meals like? Was everybody get around the table?
We had a long table, probably as long as this is and as wide, and 9 dishes around it. I think there were 8 kids home and mother. I was in a high chair. Finally, maybe when Leslie moved out, I got a chair at the table instead of in the high chair. But Mother always read to us the Burgess bedtime stories, which was about animals and like that. And we'd wait for the mail to come and bring it in, and she'd sit and read, and I'd stand and comb her hair and brush her hair.
Now, wasn't she a fan of National Geographic?
Yes.
Because I remember when I was just little going over there, and there were tons of these stacks of them, right. National Geographics.
Right.
And so she liked to read all about that. And
oh, yes. That's where she got her education.
From National Geographic?
From reading.
Oh.
From whatever she could get a hold of. Because being a family of all girls in a little nil school, she would read and read. She was an excellent reader and very well versed. So she was not a country hick that couldn't read.
So she probably finished what grade? Second, third? And
maybe,
then everything else
maybe,
on her own?
Maybe. Probably Grandpa taught her to read. Hard times, boy. Everybody was in the same fix. You wore your same shoes, and Leslie was the shoe sole.
The cobbler.
Cobbler, Do you ever remember seeing one of those cobbler stands?
I saw some in Central America where, when I was down there on a mission, but I never did see one of these cobbler stands.
A wooden block of wood with this stand nailed to it. On top of the stand was a form that you could fit different sizes for children and middle size. And
you make your own shoes
and
or repair them.
Take the leather off the old cowhide that was hanging out in the garage. Granary. Les would cut cowhides up and put on our shoes.
Wow. Now, Dad was talking about your school bus in the winter that was a sleigh. Do you remember anything about that wagon?
Yes.
And tipping it over one time?
Like the covered wagons, the Saints came in, canvas over the top, board seats down each side, and in the winter time they'd have an old potbelly stove up near the front, and the first people got on the bus down by Leo's and the Hegsteds on the old Salem Road. There's a Japanese family there that were about the first ones got picked up. And they probably went 4 miles around before we'd finally get to the schoolhouse, Salem, Sugarson. Well, this time the drifts had been so bad that between Ross's house and Fred's house, the canal bank was full of willows. So the snow would drift in behind all these willows, cover the road. So here we are going over and over these snow drifts. The fire was good and hot there in the van. Our van tipped over.
Oh no.
That stove fell on the Japanese girl and really burned her.
Oh no.
I think it scarred her face. But I remember that van tipping over and all of us scrambling out the back end, and the driver tore around there and got her away from the stove, etc. But that was no picnic.
No. Well, I think Dad mentioned something about the road would get so full that a lot of times they'd go out into the fields, and
Right.
because they couldn't get down the road,
Right.
and there was no snow plows.
The field back of Mortenson's house over toward the school would be bare because all of that snow was drifted over in
In the
well, it
willows.
happens here.
Uh-huh.
The snow plows come along out toward New Sweden. Snow plows would come along, push it to the side, fill in, push it higher, fill in, push it higher. Bill has driven buses that has gone down through those snow drifts that you couldn't see the bus.
So you just have to wait for the snow to melt then, because they didn't have snow plows back.
Oh, no.
Wow.
I don't know. I imagine a few of the guys would have a shovel or two that maybe level off a snow bank in order to not tip over. But that was